Sometimes I wonder if we have any freedom at all in this world. We feel like we're going about this life doing stuff we want to do, right? But it's actually quite hard to clearly see whether that's something we actually want to do or something that we think we want to do. There is a big difference there. First, what you actually want to do ought to be something that comes from your heart or inner fire, so to speak, like it's almost spontaneous without any question mark. On the contrary, what you think you want to do is something that's based around improving other people's perceptions about you and feeling accepted in their eyes. And yet, if you're given the absolute freedom, probably you wouldn't actually consider doing it at all. So, we should really be mindful of the disparity between the two. Oftentimes, they're very similar, it's almost indistinguishable. Anyway, before we dive deeper into this is the part where clicking the subscribe and like button would be a tremendous help. Everything's about money, money, and more money. Is this piece of paper really worth your energy and time? People spend most of their time chasing money, and when they lose huge amount of money, some might even choose to take their own life because of it. Money is made from exactly the same material as an ordinary blank sheet of paper, and actually has a weird smell that comes from the sweat of thousands of people touching it. But why do we get attracted to it more than any other ordinary pieces of paper? What's the big deal with money? As it turns out, money isn't unlike any other. As the brilliant author of the incredible book Sapiens, Yuval Noah Harari correctly points out, money is a generally accepted belief of the collective that a piece of paper has some invisible value that allows people to acquire material stuff in the society. Without this collective belief, the value of money would simply fall apart. One day, the guys from the central bank came to town and announced, "Hey guys, we'll no longer use oyster shells for buying and selling. We are using this instead." And suddenly, this piece of paper becomes the most trending stuff in all the human minds. And since it has become the most sought after object of every earthling, the perceptive value of money only increases. And so does the power of the people who own it. The more money you have, the more prestige you have. The more prestige, the more influence you have on others. The more influence you have, the more money you can possibly make. The cycle goes on and on until someone finally admits, yeah, the rich only gets richer. But this video is not about money is evil kind of thing, but it's more about how money controls our rational behaviors in our daily lives. Now that the rich guys have the power to influence other people, obviously they want to make use of this psychological monopoly to make more money. So they go into ads and commercials. Mass media marketing is something only the rich can afford. Putting up billboards all over the world and hiring actors on TV so they could see your products can be extremely costly. And yet, they're extremely effective in taking advantage of a psychological flaw within us. We human beings are kids at heart. We are highly impressionable. The more we see something, the more desirable it appears to be. The more fried chickens we see flying around, the more delicious every bite seems to be. The happier people look driving their car around, the more we think we need one in order to be happy. This is merely a game of mental associations. We associate happiness and satisfaction with acquiring something just because these ads often show fake smiles that appear to be the byproducts of enjoying certain things in life. And the more our eyes perceive them, the more we come to believe in the reality of it. But what the ads are telling us we should have might not be what we ultimately desire. The burgers you eat are very likely to be the cause of your obesity. The collection of cars you dream of having is very likely the thing that's keeping you in an unethical line of work. That yacht that makes you look sexy and hot could be the thing that's keeping you in major debt. The big corporations don't care about your health and your finances. All they care about is making more money and selling more products. And since everybody is under the same illusion of needing things they don't actually need, these commercials are allowed to roam freely into the subconscious of the human minds. Those who appear to be enjoying this material stuff more than others are quickly considered to be the role models in society, someone that everyone should aspire to be deep in their subconscious minds, which is all the better for the big corporate guys. Ads and commercials are only as effective as the number of people playing the game. The more brainwashed you are, the more money coming in for them. And if we go deeper into this, the brainwashing program doesn't stop here. It runs much deeper. Let me ask you sincerely, from 20 years or so of regular schooling, what have we actually learned? You learned math. You learned how to use numbers to make profits and avoid losses. Perfect. You also learned some physics. You learned that if you jump off a building, gravity happens and physics says you're dead. Then you learn biology. You learn about your reproductive organs and how the chemistry in your body leads you to being horny, and being horny leads you to make babies. Great. That's all. Some of these stuff are available on Wikipedia nowadays. And you wasted basically 20 years of your life in schools, practically learning almost nothing. But we just did what our parents told us. Right, parents. The problem is, your parents were once innocent little kids back then, just like you, totally ignorant of the unseen forces, simply playing along with the wishes of their parents so they could gain their affection and thus increase their survival rate. And by the way, your parents' parents are your grandparents, who were once innocent little kids back then, totally ignorant of the unseen forces, simply playing along with the wishes of their parents. And so on and on and on. Everything is rigged from the start. The system runs through your DNA, the same way it runs through your parents, grandparents, and great-great-great-grandparents. Well, if you still wish to go to schools, I'm not here to tell you otherwise. But it's within my understanding that you should be there only when you wish to learn something that can only be learned at schools. Anyway, the main basic function of schools is not to teach you algebra or Newton's law of physics or how to run. It's scheduling. Keep your heads down, do exactly what you're told, and never talk back to your superiors. Otherwise, we would send you to detention and make you regret your actions. Dude, we pay you thousands of dollars to be here. I'm basically buying your services. I'm your boss, and you're my employee. Can I leave now? Anyway, they love you fearful and mechanical, because as soon as you're out of schools and start to work for these companies, you're exactly how they want you to be. Be punctual, work 8 hours for 5 days a week without complaints, make money for them, quit your dreams, never talk out of turn with the bosses, never question what they are doing. Just do what keeps your paychecks running, and then retire when you're too old and too weak to do anything else. That's the plan. If you get to this point without thinking this is stupid and switching it off, you've made it. That's great, because there's more. Sir, despite the success of our education system, there's still a number of people thinking they could outsmart us. They think too much, and they're dangerous. They could get other people to join them. I have another plan. Let's work with the entertainment industries and get these people addicted. Here's how it goes. You feel frustrated with your life, like you're not really getting the most out of it. You are in conflict, and you start to question why your life is so miserable. Then you browse the internet looking for some answers. But when you're so close to getting one, there's an open tab that's been bothering you. Before you know it, 2 hours have passed, and you're too tired to do anything else. Then you go back to the same pattern of easy, convenient lives and remain stuck in the machine with no way out. For the mysterious guys at the top, this is mission accomplished. You see, valuable things in life require enormous amounts of energy. The energy to actually think through about what you want out of your life and what you need to do in order to accomplish that, and the energy to actually do it. But our excessive need for cheap dopamine hits oftentimes cause addictions to pornography, social media, binge watching that completely drain our energy to do stuff that actually matter. And these big corporations are more than willing to provide you with these dopamine highs as long as it keeps you stuck in the loop. The society wants you to stay foolish and afraid and without dreams. This is often the best recipe for becoming the perfect slave to the system, and it would do everything possible to keep you there. The majority of the people have turned into basically walking robots. For those of you that still have some humanity left in you, free yourself by becoming aware of your whole mechanism. Your habits, tendencies, and addictions, they serve no one but someone else's bank accounts. Now you have the key in your hands. What you do with it is entirely your choice.